Hi, and welcome to FrazlCast. Climb aboard the GNOME train.
Chugga, 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 chugga.
Please make sure to keep your limbs and experimental instruments inside the train at all times. And now, on with the show.
A podcast by a Blizzard fan gnome about World of Warcraft and geeky stuff. I promise you, they do talk about the World of Warcraft. They just go off the rails sometimes.
So we are coming to you an hour earlier on the live show, but according to Daylight Savings Time, it's the normal time. And on the download, you're listening to us anytime. I mean, possibly from the future or the past if you time travel. But I'm Frazly, and I am joined by Allie of Dungeon Fables and All Things Azeroth.
Hello.
And one of the longest running podcasters, if not the longest running podcaster. I mean, there was a Twitter thread by Alessandro on this. But regardless, we are joined by Starman or Starmike. I had to get clarification from Allie on this. I kept thinking that I was getting confused. I mean, Starman is a vendor that our beat store buys from. So, do you sell beads?
No, I could. Oh, that's what I should have done.
Little like Star Trek beads or something.
Yeah,
I actually have beads in my car from a Grateful Dead concert years ago.
Okay, so if you sell it to me, then you'll be the Starman, and then I can sell it at the bead store, and then that'll be perfect.
I sell beads.
Yes, and you're the same Starman. Yeah, we are joined by Michael Gaines of World of Warcast and This Week in Trek.
And Beads Cast.
And Beads Cast. Absolutely.
I'm not even drunk yet.
Yet. Notice that yet.
I know.
Good. I like it.
What's going on?
Well, on this episode, I want to get to know you. I kind of want to know more about you. I've not talked with you a lot.
Did Hallie pay you to do this? Because nobody wants to do that.
I love knowing about people.
Okay.
I mean, I could have. I was tempted to. But Presley does not need to be paid off because he genuinely likes the community. And he just...
No, and by the way, what a great community it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was cool when James Ridgers announced this week that they were getting married. The community just poured love over them. It was like, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And congratulations, James. And forget the other person. I'm sorry. James's future wife. Congratulations.
That was good. That's good. That's smooth.
So I think with that, Epic and Sandy, what time is it?
It's time to go around the table.
Great idea. So what have you been up to recently? We'll start with the newest guest on the show, Michael.
So I started playing this game. It's called World of Warcraft. It's new. It's hot. It's in. No. I started moving up my Demon Hunter because my mage is pretty much as far as she's going to get with what I can do. So I thought, well, why not just get another tune up to 120?
Absolutely.
So I got my Demon Hunter up to 120 this week. And I'm really not sure. See, I've been playing a mage forever since vanilla, and I have a priest and a mage and a monk and Death Knight, but they're just like distractions. But I was thinking, like, if I wanted to have like a real alt, not just like, oh, somebody I just got to 120, I know, like a real alt, like somebody I could do melee and tanking with. I'll just use my Demon Hunter.
Absolutely. And they can jump up and glide?
Yeah, I completely forgot that they can do that. I accidentally hit my spacebar twice. I'm like, oh, look at that.
Woo!
I know.
At what level did you realize that?
118.
Oh.
Okay, so it wasn't 120. So I will give you a little bit of credit, maybe.
A little bit. I get one bead.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't start using Heroic Leap till 110 in Legion.
Look, when I played vanilla, I didn't even know what talents were until I was like 40.
Okay.
So, no, wait, I couldn't have been 40. No, because I was in wetlands. That would have been mid-20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember I was grouped with someone and they said, what spec are you? And I remember where I was sitting, and when it happened, I'm like, wow, I feel really dumb. Here I'm doing a freaking podcast about this game, and I don't even know what a talent tree is.
Good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I did LFR, which is interesting because Ellie and I just had a conversation about this last week, like why I don't raid. And because I raided in vanilla, I mean, look, I am not in any way using this term lightly at all, but it's like that PTSD from raiding in vanilla, 6 days a week, 4 to 5 hours a day. and gathering stuff on Sundays on our day off. To this day, like 14 years later, I still think that raiding is 6 days a week, 6 hours a day. And Allie's like, no, we just do it one day.
Yeah. I mean, I explain, every group's different. Some groups are more hardcore. Some group just does the one day and extend the lockout. Everyone's different. But you don't have to hardcore, minus 50 DKP minus everything. It's not like that.
I mean, there are certain guilds that like to push it to the limit. I mean, that's part of their method.
Oh, sure. Yeah, but I can't do that anymore. I pushed myself way too hard back in vanilla. I mean, we did next 40. We got halfway through it, and then the rest of the guild just went, no. We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of like why I stayed away from raiding for a while, amongst other reasons.
What item level is your Demon Hunter now? Because I know you've been working on that.
Oh, she's 326.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she's just now able to do heroics, so I haven't done any heroics yet.
I feel bad, like Bradley's 367, and people are like, oh, I've got 370, 390, and I'm like, oh, great.
You know what? It's okay. Everyone plays the game differently. Everyone
That's right.
It enjoys different things, and there's nothing
That's
wrong
right.
with it.
Yeah, my mage is 364 now, or 365, something like that. I just got an I-400 the other day.
Wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
Which was nice. So I'm very happy about that. The 400 chest, the really nice cloth piece. I got that. I'm like, I'm done. I've just quit the game now.
Yeah. And what's weird in a couple expansions, that'll be like nothing. Like that'll just drop off of a random quest.
Yeah, I know. 3 months later, I was like, oh yeah, this.
Yeah.
But you got it, and you got the transmog, and you're more powerful now. So it's
I am. I can take over the game.
Feel the power of the mage.
Is this when I should tell you my item level, or probably not?
I know what your item level is. You told me.
No, you don't. It's gone up.
Oh, was it 390 now?
394 now.
394. Okay.
Wow.
But I also raid, and I finally got lucky with a couple pieces. So, yeah.
All of a sudden, I feel inadequate. It's like I only have like 365, whatever.
That's because I raid, and I only have 120, whereas you have 2 now. So
true.
There you go.
Yeah,
I've got 3.
Look at you show off. Oh, I got 3.
I'm working on a shaman now too.
A shaman. That's. I tried playing a shaman a year ago for our Warcast challenge, and I just couldn't do it. Our Naked and Afraid.
Yeah,
we just couldn't do it.
Well, I mean, you have to have the clothes to feel comfortable.
That's true too. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Just playing the game, having fun.
Nice,
like I always do.
So then, Allie,
yes,
what have you been up to? Have you been playing with the Demon Hunters and stuff like that?
No, my Demon Hunter is 98 and is not out of the starting zone yet. She exists, and she's there, and she's done maybe 4 quests, but she's not out yet. So none of that. No, we are just digging out of a blizzard we had yesterday. The bomb cyclone, it was being called. It was pretty crazy. We didn't get it too bad here. Like, thankfully, I lost internet for maybe half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As while I was working on show notes. Starman's over here saying that I should record 5 episodes yesterday.
Why not?
Whereas I got show notes done and recorded this morning. And then I also got a head start next week's show notes. So I feel pretty good about that.
Nice.
Record 5 episodes. But yeah, so that was cool. My parents live about half an hour from me, and they lost power for 4 hours,
wow.
I think. There's other people who lost it for 7 and uprooted trees, and it was really wind. The wind was nasty.
That's tough when you lose power and it's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got lucky here, though. We didn't get, like, just slightly east of us got hit harder than we did. That is done. I did my unlock for the Colterans yesterday.
Nice.
Which was a lot of fun.
So do you have one? I mean, you did the unlock, but did you start a character?
She has the best name.
Oh, what is it?
Allie Morgan.
Oh.
Wait, it gets better. There exists in game a captain title. So I need to go get that on my it's from the Garrison Shipyard stuff, and I don't quite have it yet. Mm-hmm. So on my priest, I'm going to go get it. And then that way, when my Colteran monk is 100, she could be Captain Allie Morgan.
And she has to get the pirate hat from the edition.
All right, I already have that.
That's right. Sure. I raise my beer to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will buy Captain Morgan tomorrow.
So I was pretty excited about that. And I created her today. And it was fun because I created her a little more in my likeness. Like she's got green eyes and I have green eyes. Mm-hmm. She has freckles and, well, you can't see now because I'm wearing makeup, but like I have freckles, especially during the summer, the semi-freckles. And it was really cool. So I'm really happy with her and what she looks like. And I look forward to having fun with that.
Now, was it just me or did I miss the train that there would be no skinny Clotirans for the character model? I kept thinking that it would be one of the options.
You know, I think everyone thought that because there are skinny model Clotiran NPCs.
Yeah, and it was in the dressing room in Wildhead and stuff like that.
So I don't know what happened with that. That's actually a really good question.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. So I haven't done the unlock, so I haven't tried it myself yet. But
yeah, there's no skinny model, and that I know that surprised a few people. So I don't know if we're gonna get them eventually, or if that was just too much on Blizzard system.
And I mean, I don't mind the big body Clotiran. I mean, I don't mind them. Mm-hmm. I mean, that beer gut. I mean, it's awesome.
Good, I like it. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I can't wait to level her. And I did the quest with Magni to upgrade your neck piece.
Yes, I did that too.
Which was short, but it was still really good.
yeah. And then they say, oh, we have to wait 77 cycles for the next part. I'm like,
I was like, okay, so 8.2 is coming out in
77 days. Yeah, exactly.
Which was smooth. That was smooth of them. But there was a jaw-dropping moment, and I was not expecting. So I was really... no spoilers. No spoilers. But
there was.
I was really excited.
I can't wait to get there.
Yeah, you should definitely do that. And then, plus, it upgrades your Heart of Azeroth 10 item levels.
Nice.
So that's really good. I did the 2 new Tortollan World Quests.
There are more? Oh, I need to do them.
So there's the Cycle of Life, which is the one where you turn into a crab and attack the turtles, which...
That's right. I forgot about that.
Feels really... I understand the whole Cycle of Life thing, but it feels so wrong because they're just cute little turtles and they're just coming down the way and you just go like snap them and kill them and it just doesn't feel right.
Don't feel too bad. You're actually saving them from the Zoth because everyone's been saying that the Zoth...
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, there's a really cool webcomic about that and everything, but... It still feels wrong because the turtles are too cute.
Oh, they are.
And then the other one is calligraphy, and you have to basically like run and follow like the shape of a rune or whatever that Nola shows you. But she shows you and then disappears, and you have to get it like dead on. There was one time I swore I was dead on, and according to Nola, I wasn't. But I did it in the opposite way, and then it worked for some reason, even though it was like almost again exactly the same as last time. So that one's a little tricky. I read from someone that if you mount up, it goes better. Okay. So if you do the calligraphy world quest, mount up first.
Interesting.
And then my raid got our first normal Jaina kill.
Nice. Congratulations.
So it's a really fun fight. The best part is still being able to mind control people off the boat because that's just way too much fun. But yeah, so that was cool. And just enjoying 815 and discovering everything. And apparently I'm doing some time walking tomorrow. So it's good times.
Very nice.
Should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like speaking of walking, like I got a new Fitbit.
Oh yeah. How do you like it?
I love it. I had the Ionic and the battery. It lasts longer, but there's parts of it where the Versa feels better. So love it. It's been lasting me a couple days. And I'm glad to be back on the Fitbit because I love getting notifications on my watch and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then I watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I binged the entire 2 series.
I need to watch that.
Oh, it is good.
I know. Being that like the 40s, or like that time period for me, like when I was born was like not that far back. I kind of like have a thing for that time period. So yeah, I would love to watch it. I've been meaning to watch that, and then I heard there was a season 2. I'm like, I missed season 1. Okay.
And season 3 will be coming out sometime this year, I've heard.
Okay.
And do you know Lois from Family Guy and also Alex Borstein from Mad TV? They are one of the characters on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. They're actually my favorite character. Maisel's great, or Mrs. Maisel's great, but I love Alex Borstein's character the most. It was every time it was on, I just like smile and laugh.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna have to watch it. I will report back.
Absolutely. A good one to dive into. Just make sure when you do it that you're prepared to keep going. That you're not every time you end an episode, you're going to want to keep going.
Okay.
And then I also dived this week into Subnautica. This is my new main non-MMO game. It is so vast.
Is this the pirate game that I see on Twitch or something? The water game or something? I think I know what it is.
It's
well, it is
not
a water
pirate.
game.
Yeah. There might be pirates. I can see there being space pirates and stuff like that. But
Oh, I know which one it is now. Do you go diving in it?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know it.
And it really feeds into your fear. I think someone was saying like thalassophobia or something like that. I mean, just like it feeds into that. And it's like, because you're looking underwater, you don't know what's under there. Like just today, I was going around, all of a sudden out of nowhere, this huge monster just comes out. And I'm like, oh! I mean, it just.
You can't blink and run away.
No. And you have to watch it like for your water and your hunger and stuff like that. I mean, and you have to go up and down for breathing, and you're constantly building stuff. There is an end game. I don't think that's a spoiler to say because because they even say on their site for the next game coming out, Sub-Zero, that it's an expansion to continue the story. So there is a story and an eventual end to it. So it's not just always. But every time I get into it, I find something new to do. It's a lot of fun, and it's fun for streams because then you can
You're
everybody.
pretty entertained to watch doing that, I will say.
Thank you. It's so much fun. And I'm just gonna keep playing that one forever. I put out every other game except for WoW away.
Really? Okay.
I want to finish it, and then I want to go to the frozen north of in the game. Yeah, north. You know, it's weird though when you walk into WoW. There was a couple times I walked into the water. I kept expecting something from this game to pop out, or like I kept expecting the Zoth to appear in Subnautica.
Yeah.
But over in WoW, I condensed all my characters down to Airy Peak for Alliance and Boulder Fist for Horde, so that way I could. There was a sale with the realm changes being off. So I was like, you know what? Just go to 2 servers. I can then funnel money between all my different characters, have like Mafia Ring and stuff like that. And I have like this one going here. And I've deleted characters over the years, so I have had more characters in my account. So it was easier for me to move stuff around.
Okay.
And still working on Into my Horde Hunter, just dinged 120.
Congrats.
I want that 2 sides to every tail.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to start working on my Hardy here maybe this week. Maybe
Your what?
week.
Your what?
My
Did I
Hardy?
hear you?
My Hardy?
Did I hear you right?
I got a tune on Boulder Fist. Shush. I am a sucker for the lore and the story. You know this.
Yes, I know.
I got to see both sides.
And the quest on the Horde side, amazing. I don't want to reveal more, but I've loved every quest that I've done on the Horde side. It is awesome. And then Fraz is just working on everything. I had to get Fraz ready to go for the Kotirans, so I can unlock the Kotirans. Because then with the Kotirans, I was able to turn my Druid Thunder into a Kotiran because I want the pirate hat, I want the wicker, I want all that. Thunder's a druid, so I'm excited for that.
That's the popular one. Everyone's doing Kotiran druids. The forms are cool. I get it.
Someone was saying that the Boomkin though is scary. I'm like, I can see that, like just like this giant scary Boomkin out of nowhere, all wicker. And like I said earlier, I rolled my shaman stuff and streaming that. So this will be my 4th 120.
Wow.
There is a cool tidbit that I saw in the patch notes, but I have not heard a lot of people talking about it.
Okay.
So last night I completed a quest. The quest reward for level 23, it went to epic. So in the patch, all quest rewards from classic through the Warlords of Draenor expansion now have a chance to upgrade up to epic quality. Item levels of rare and epic quest reward in classic through Warlords have been increased slightly in some cases. And unique items that drop from rares in classic through myths now also have a chance to upgrade to rare. So I think that is a really cool change, and it's great for alts.
Okay.
Yeah,
it is good for alts.
So Michael.
Yes.
I'm going to guess you probably have some alts.
They're not all like 110, like I have a 102 hunter or something, but I think I have 7 or 8 alts.
Nice.
So like off and on.
And I think you love gaming.
A little bit. Yeah.
Having a long running podcast on a game. So what is your gaming history?
Oh, you see, the scary thing is that I can say that I was there when video games were invented.
Wow.
So there's that. When people say, what was your first game? Like, Pong. It's like it really was. No, when I was a kid, it was Pong. I distinctly remember this game. Our family went to Disney World in Florida, and our hotel had this game in the lobby. It was I've looked it up, but I don't remember the name of it. where all these it was a vector game, and all these dots went across the screen. You had to move your ship up and avoid the dots to get to the top. I've been around gaming since gaming was invented. I mean, there's no exaggeration.
Wow.
I played Pong in the arc. Well, I mean, it was pinball machines when I was like younger than that, but then like, you know, it was a Pong machine. Neighbors would get like Pong on the Atari. And of course, I wanted one. We didn't get an Atari. The first video game console I got was a Coleco Telstar arcade in 77. We didn't get our Atari 2600 until I believe the following year in 78. Yeah, been gaming for a while.
And then from there, how did you get into like PC gaming and stuff like that?
I had an Atari 800 when I was 15. I'm doing the math right. I think it was 15 when I got the 800. And I mean, from there, I mean, that was it. You know, you had cartridges and you had floppies and you had friends. And it's sort of like, I mean, gaming was like a very social thing back in those days. It was the first time that I was able to meet people from gamings, because there were these, some of us had like our own phone lines. So we would run our own BBSs on our Ataris. And so the big thing was to swap numbers of people that you knew. I started this network of people in my area. You know, when you're 15, you know, meeting people that are like 10 miles away, it's like, you know, it's like weird.
Yeah.
Because it's usually like people in your own school or maybe the school over, but not like as far away as like, you know, you had to ask your mom for a ride to go somewhere. I used to ride my bike everywhere. These were car-worthy people. It was interesting to do that. And then, let's see, online gaming, there were I remember when I was at NGIT, I don't remember how, but I found MUDs. If anybody doesn't know what those are text-based like MMOs, for lack of a better term. So you would be like, it was all text-based. So you'd be in a room with a bunch of like people that were online, and then you say go north, and you're in a cave, and a wumpus would come or something like that. But I never got into them much. And then I was in GameStop. I remember I ran into an old D&D buddy of mine from high school. And I said, like, you know, have you talked to, you know, these, you know, our other D&D people? And I was like, oh yeah, we're all playing EverQuest. And that was it. So that's how that started.
I hear that's how a lot of it like starts with like EverQuest. That was like their first MMO, and everyone, like, people would like start it and just never be able to leave because it's that amazing.
Well, not only that, but everything took forever.
Yeah.
And that's no exaggeration. It's like, you know, in WoW, we take WoW for granted. Even vanilla, people are like, oh, vanilla was so hard. I'm like, no, it was not. Vanilla was easy compared to the stuff that we had. I mean, just to get from one end of like Antonica to the other would take an hour if you were running. And so you would think, okay, I'm going to run to Kinos, and that's going to be it. And then I'm going to go to bed. And then you're attacked by a bear, things like that. And then you have to get your corpse, et cetera, et cetera. When you're in something that's brand new, like MMO gaming was brand new, you just wanted to see and do everything and stay up until 2 a.m. and do everything.
Yeah, and like you couldn't go online to like search some of the stuff because like they didn't have as many sites.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you and I were talking on Twitter about Star Wars Galaxies and its port systems and like the starships and all that, and then you talking about boats taking 2 hours.
Yes, the boat from Butcher Block to Timoris Deep, you would have to wait 30 minutes for the boat, and then I forgot how long it took to actually get to Timoris Deep, and then you had to take another boat to get to Kunark. And so it would take if you wanted to go to Kunark and you weren't a wizard or a druid, it would take you an hour. Needless to say, when I first started playing EverQuest, I was a warrior first, and then I found out that druids and wizards can port. That is how I started playing a druid.
So you could definitely say that the portal rooms, having to just fly maybe like 5 minutes, is not quite as bad.
No, not nearly as bad. But EverQuest is a lot of fun. And the weird thing is that years later, after playing, and I've gone to EQ2 and I've gone to WoW, this is around the time of maybe Burning Crusade, maybe even later. I go back just to see what's going on in EverQuest, and there are people on my friends list that were still online. They were still playing. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. I don't know how many of my vanilla friends are on there. Maybe it would be fun to like find out that a vanilla friend that I had is still talking to me. I was brought in it. So if anybody remembers Broaden, the dwarf priest on Storm Rage, send me a message.
So you weren't always a gnome, is that what you're saying?
Nope. In fact, I kept killing off my gnome mages.
Oh my goodness. That's my gaming history in a very small nutshell.
I want to crack open that shell just a little bit more.
Okay.
How did you get started into playing World of Warcraft?
It's very simple and weird. So Lindy and the person I used to do Warcast with back when we first started, he and I used to play Diablo 2 long time ago. And so I was aware of Blizzard games. I was not a fan of RTS games. I just never got into them. So I was aware of Warcraft. I was an EverQuest fanboy. So of course, when EQ2 came out, EQ2 came out 2 weeks before WoW did. And so, of course, like I'm playing EverQuest 2, and I'm like, I will never play WoW. I will never play WoW because I'm such an EQ fan. And then EQ2 turned to crap. It really did. There were so many problems with that game for the first 6 months. The developers were not listening. And so one day I just got so frustrated. I was in GameStop looking for something. I don't remember what. And I'm like, I wonder if I should do it. Should I buy WoW? Because everybody seems to be moving to WoW. All the EQ players are like, no, this game sucks. We're going to move to WoW. And so I did it. And it was February 2005, February 8th, 2005. I remember I called Lindy. I was like, I bought WoW and it's awesome. And that was it. And I would play EQ2. I would go back there every now and then. They did eventually fix the things, but it was just way too late. It was just too late. They screwed themselves. They didn't listen to the beta testers. What can you do? Another reason why I love WoW so much is that because I was playing a druid in EQ, I wound up playing a druid in WoW, and Teldrassil was just like, okay, that's it. I'm home.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And that was your home until last year, probably.
No, I started playing a mage because I was in Silithus. I distinctly remember where I was. I was in a northwest corner of Silithus doing, I don't know what I was doing, questing, farming. I don't know what I was doing. And I'm having trouble. I'm playing a balanced druid. I'm having a lot of trouble. And I see this mage just beating the crap out of everything. I'm like, okay, I'm playing a mage now. And that was it.
It's interesting that you mentioned farming, and I've heard on Warcast that you guys talk about like the mounts and stuff like that in mount runs.
Yes, every Tuesday.
So with the mount runs, do you ever do like transmog and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
Do you ever wish you could like just change your transmog outside of the instance? I mean, would that happen?
She put you up to this, didn't she?
I cannot lie.
I may have talked to Frazly earlier in the week, or maybe last week. Was that no. I am sweet and innocent. I did not do that at all.
Allie's been trying to get me to get the transmog mount for some reason, and now I'm just becoming a stubborn jerk about it. So now I refuse to get one. So this will be an eternal running gag.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, I had to buy it with the tokens, so I get it. It's expensive. I mean, I know.
I could buy a token. I go online right now, buy a token.
He has the gold for it. Let me put that out there. He has the gold for it.
I don't have nearly as much as I used to, because when I dropped 400,000 on the tier 3 druid chess piece, which I never got in Nax, that was like the end of it. Then I started getting like a little careful with my money. But I mean, I could just, like I said, I could just buy a couple tokens and that's it. But there's nothing that I really need. Except maybe the mount.
Well, and do you have the auctioneer mount?
Yes. No. Oh, the auctioneer. No. I was thinking of the other one, the repair mount. No, I have
you get the auctioneer
the
mount
traveling
before getting the transmog mount. I will never let you live it down.
I have the traveling tundra mammoth. I do not have the mog mount. The auctioneer mount sounds interesting, but getting 5 million gold. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it took me all these years. I think I just got the tier 3 chess piece. I dropped the 400K on that maybe over the summer, early fall or something like that. So it took me all that time just to normally get like 700,000 gold. I don't anticipate getting 5 million gold anytime soon.
Yeah, and that's a lot of tokens if you ever try to do that.
Yeah, how many would that be? That would be about 100. Yeah, that would be a lot.
But I mean, it could just be a donation to Blizzard, to the Church of Blizzard.
The Church of Blizzard.
What I love hearing about this is that you love gaming and that I hear a passion for WoW. Mm-hmm. How did you get started into podcasting?
Because I grew up with New York radio and it's what I've wanted to do. And then when I went to college, I actually got my FM broadcaster license.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was a DJ at college at Trenton State for about a year and a half. I think I was a DJ. So I had 2 shows. Had to learn to turn off the transmitter, and you had to do your call signs, and you had to do your logs and everything like that. And you had to make sure that you didn't swear, which is why I don't swear on the show, because it's just that FM training, I suppose.
Yeah, because it's not a idea to swear on.
Exactly. The thing is that like over the years, like I made a conscious decision to keep it that way, but then like over the years, it's like, oh, it's nice that I can listen to this with my kids.
Yeah. And that is one thing I can't say about the show. You can't, I don't think you can listen to.
I can swear on the show.
I don't encourage it, but
no, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, thank you. I've had all manners of swear said on this show.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Zorts.
Yeah.
You have a lot of fun with that board, though, I will say.
This I have a lot of fun with
The voice changing board and stuff like that.
I meant the bleep button part of it, but yeah, that too.
Oh yeah, I have too much fun with this thing. It's just too much fun.
No, you got to sell it. You got to do the beep and then come back saying ing.
I have no idea what you mean.
There you go. That's exactly how you do it.
Nice.
I think in all the years that I did shows, I think I had to bleep out something maybe once or twice.
I vaguely remember because I've been listening to Warcast for a very long time. And then when I started listening and I liked it, I went back and started listening from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I vaguely remember only a few.
Yeah, there might. I remember doing it a handful of times, but not many. I never ever really wanted to be a DJ as a job. It was always like a hobby. The first social network, so to speak, that I've ever been on, I'm aging myself again here, it was like CB radios. And so you sort of learn to talk over the air. For a while, I'm like, I really kind of miss doing the whole DJ thing, but like, where am I going to go? So podcasting came around. Somewhere in this house, I have the notes of when I started the show, like what I was going to call it and things like that. I got to find, I have 2 notebooks. One of them I know is behind me, but I don't think that's the one. It might be somewhere else in the house. I should find it and like take a picture.
You really should.
Yeah.
I see it.
I was writing down ideas of like what to call it, what it was going to be. Originally it was going to be a gaming show. And then I thought, well, I don't know what to say really about that because there are already people that were far more into gaming than I was. And I knew I didn't have the time. I would never, ever have the time to do it. There was a big, giant, gaping hole for a wild podcast, and so I did it.
I think Alessandro said you started in 2005, like for a 10-episode run.
It was July 2005. I didn't think that it would last so long because I always say this, and I still stick by it, is that I thought that Blizzard would come out with their own, and then nobody would do it. And that was because I didn't think that podcasting would take off as much as it did. And Blizzard did eventually have their own podcast. So it was more like a marketing thing where they weren't going to tell you anything that you didn't already know. They weren't going to give you any insight that they weren't allowed to say. The independent ones still did well, still do.
Yeah. And I think for a while they would kind of give information to certain podcasts, but not officially. Mm-hmm. And then that way they could give out information, but without officially giving it out.
Right. And then there was a time when I stopped doing it for a while because I really, and I'll stand by this too, I hated Warlords of Draenor. It sucked the fun out of my game for a variety of reasons. And I just remember saying, I don't have anything to talk about. Granted, you always have the off weeks where you just, there's not much to do. And so you skip a week and it's not a big deal. In Warlords, I struggled to sound enthusiastic about it. And then I got the beta invite or the friends and family invite for Legion. That was it. I was back in.
It's hard to podcast if you don't feel enthusiastic about it. I mean, it's hard if you're not enjoying it.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't fake it.
No.
People will smell that a mile away. So,
absolutely.
No. And I try. I think I might even said on the show, I was like, I'm trying, but it's killing me. And so I ended the show. I really thought that was going to be the end of it. I called Inferno Bill and I asked him to do some bumpers for me for the end of the show from TavernCast, and he was gracious enough to do them. And I'm like, okay, that's it. And I feel really sad. That's it. It's over. And then Legion came out. I'm like, I'm back in.
And that's the fun about podcasting too, is you don't have to, if you make a decision now, it's not like you have to keep making that decision.
Yeah. But the thing is, the scary thing, and I see this happen with Twitch streamers too, is that if you take so much as like a week or two off, and for Twitch streamers, Jesus, I mean, for them, I feel really bad. It's like they take a day off and they feel like they've lost like half their viewers, and it's terrible. It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
Numbers for me are just a gauge as to what's happening. But for Twitch streamers, it's different because that's their job.
Yeah.
And so when I see people on Twitch saying, "Oh, I lost a bunch of people because I took a vacation," I'm like, I feel terrible for them.
And Twitch is all about discoverability, and the views is how people discover stuff.
Mm-hmm. I almost got into that. In fact, I bought all the gear and a green screen and everything I was going to do it. And at the last minute, I just went, I don't want this. I
only do it for fun, but it's not my main priority. If anything, this is my priority that I do. And if there's a week I don't Twitch stream, I hate to say it, there'll be a week I won't Twitch stream.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. I use Twitch for This Week in Trek because it's a lot of fun to interact with people. But as far as like gaming goes, it's not for me. My idea was I was going to play a bunch of retro games. That was going to be my thing. I got Rogue Squadron. The Rogue Squadron was going to be like the first game that I played, so I bought it from GOG. Just literally at the last minute, I just went, no. I even had an intro for the channel. It was really nice too. I spent a lot of time on it with Adobe After Effects. No, it's done. Never going to happen.
Even if the Twitch won't happen, the podcasting, I'm glad it's back.
Thank you.
There was a time that I actually I quit WoW because money was tight, and I honestly just couldn't afford the sub, and the hardcore raid group I was with fell apart and everything, and when I quit WoW, like I kind of quit listening to podcasts for a while, and so when I started picking it back up and realized that yours had stopped, I was heartbroken. I was excited that the guys from TavernCast were on your last one, but I was like, no, what am I going to do? I need my Starman. I need my Warcast. This isn't right. And so when you came back, I was super happy.
Just see, now I can never end the show.
Never. No, I won't let you. No.
I love it.
Because, I mean, if you end it, then you won't have opportunities to have crazy things. And I bet you've had some crazy things happen to you on Warcast.
I remember there was one time I was doing an episode with someone who recorded their audio, and then for some reason it recorded wrong, or Audacity butchered it, or something happened to it, so it came out all choppy. Because he had to send me the disc. I get it, and the whole thing is just a mess, and I had to use it.
I can name two. I don't know if you would consider it to be the craziest. When you, and again, this is, I mean, it wasn't entirely all just World of Warcast, but you and Lyndon did the whole War of the Morlocks. War of the Morlocks thing with TavernCast.
Working with TavernCast was just amazing. It was a lot of fun. It's a shame that show, doesn't put anything out anymore.
It breaks my heart.
It really did. I mean, I just remember listening to it after a while, and I was like, this is the best damn show that there is. It really was. I mean, it was so well done.
Oh yeah, that was the one that I listened to that back in vanilla, and that was a lot of fun.
I remember calling. I called in. Did I call it? I remember I was somewhere. I was driving, and I called. If I called Aloysius,
you called in because they had been doing the Love Boat theme,
right? And that's right. When they're doing voicemails,
there you go. Yep. Yeah. And then like you were driving and you were listening to the Love Boat, or you were singing it or something, and the guy in the car next to you or something was like looking at you weird, and you were calling in about it.
Right.
They played it on their blooper show.
Yes, I remember where I was when I called. I was on Route 10 going east. I remember when I did that. Yes. All right. What's the second thing, Allie?
The second thing was when you and Ren got to be involved with.
Right. Second Skin.
Second Skin. Sorry. Second Life is a game. Second Skin is.
I completely forgot. Yes. Ren and I forgot how we found out about it, but somebody was doing a documentary about gamers. I said, well, okay, you can talk to us, thinking like nobody's going to talk to us. Like we're nobody. I mean, there's so many people already out there that are just doing so many amazing things. And because they were local, they were in New York City, they came by. Ren drove down from New York State and filmed it. And we were only in the movie for like 10 seconds. But they were here all afternoon. It was a lot of fun. Vic and everybody it was just great to work with them. And then we went to the premiere. And then on my 40th birthday, my wife and I went out with everybody from the Second Skin team to see Blade Runner in New York City.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I also just dated myself again.
Wait, how do you date yourself? That would be... Anyway... I could see that being a concept on Star Trek, because I hear you run a podcast called This Week in Trek.
I do.
So what do you love most about Star Trek?
Oh my God. Okay. You sent me your questions ahead of time. So I was thinking about this because I really didn't know how to answer that. I'll start by saying that my dad was a science teacher before he retired. And so through him, I learned about science. And so he and I used to watch Star Trek back when it was on NBC, first run. And so I guess what I'm saying is that over the years, it was different at different stages in my life. So like when I was a kid watching it, it was more about, space, right? And, spores and Vulcans and things like that. And, when you're a little kid, it was new and it was interesting and cool. And I remember when it went off the air, I was like heartbroken. And then my dad said a little while later, it's like, oh no, Channel 11 is going to play it on reruns. And, that the rest is history. As I got older, the core of it has always been about the stories. But then it was about the production, the sound design, set design, color. Then you get older and then you realize the relationships between the characters and, that was clever how they, then you realize that the stories were actually mirroring what's going on in the world and things. It changed for me over the years. And now, I mean, apart from the fact that it's just something that I just can't escape. And I said this on the show once before, is that I remember when Star Wars came out in 1977, I disowned Star Trek for a little while. I'm like, Star Wars is the thing, right? Then, a little while later, I was like, I got back into it. But what does it mean to me? I mean, to me, it's a history for me. I mean, it's been with me since I was born. But you know what? So is Superman in a way. Because my dad was a comic book collector too. But Star Trek always stuck with me. Music, sound effects, story, characters, the deeper meanings of the stories and such. So there's a lot going on there. That's why I do the show. Another reason why I do the show is because for the longest time, the only thing people knew about me was that I played WoW. That was it. And I was getting a little tired of that. So I figured, well, the only other show that I could do anything about and not sound like an idiot would be Star Trek. Anything else, I wouldn't be able to talk about it as well.
That's awesome. Just that passion. And it probably takes you back to your childhood when you watch it.
All the time. Watching TNG reminds me of college. Weirdly enough, later seasons of TNG remind me of like when I had just gotten married. So it's strange how like Star Trek was like always there for everything. My first convention was in 1975. I have pictures. They're not very good. I still haven't figured out what they're of because they're so dark. I have to do something with it. I have to throw them in Photoshop or something. Yeah, Star Trek has always been there.
And you're mentioning that conventions. So have you been to the Star Trek experience?
Yes. My wife and I were in Vegas. I don't remember what year. 95? No, it couldn't have been. Voyager. Maybe later. Maybe 97. I don't think the news had gotten out that it was closing yet. I have pictures of that too. They're film pictures. I got to start scanning my stuff in.
Oh, I want to see those because I loved that. I was 9 when I went and just incredible. I've never forgotten it.
Yeah, it was exactly what it needed to be.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a fan of rides, where you're getting jerked around a lot. I mean, the shuttle ride was fun for what it was. My only thing that I didn't like was that they take you in this room and then the doors open and you're on the damn bridge, the TNG bridge, and they just shuffle you through, no pictures, and you're in and out. I'm like, wait, no. I want to stay here for another minute. And you can't. They shuffle you out. I didn't like that.
I'm going to guess they probably did that so that way you wouldn't lose that. Because like if you stood there enough, you might, all the wrinkles.
Maybe, but it would have been nice to appreciate it a little bit more. Yeah. And I know they got to keep people moving for the shuttle thing. And then they put you in a room. Oh my God, the Borg are attacking. I'm like, just give us 30 more seconds or something. And no pictures? They didn't let us take pictures? That's just ridiculous.
I didn't have a camera at the time, so I wasn't thinking about that part.
Quark's bar was great. The models on the ceiling were great. All the timelines and the stuff behind glass, I loved it. And apparently there's a roaming exhibit now. And so I'm hoping it comes here because it's at a children's museum. I don't remember where, but there's the Liberty Science Center here in Jersey, and I hope that they have it there.
Do they have like the bridge there, or what do they have at the exhibit?
It's props and costumes. There's a small model replica of the TOS set from the studio. Buckeye Fitzy on our Discord posted pictures today.
Oh, yeah, I saw those.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
If you get a chance, I would go see it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Star Trek has a theme of like time travel, I believe, or maybe I'm thinking of Doctor Who. I get okay. I get those confused sometimes. And I'm behind a Doctor Who too. But with time travel, if you were to do this over again, what is the first thing you would do?
I wouldn't have done the order differently. I might have started the Trek show a little earlier. That doesn't matter. But I would probably learn to market myself a little better because I'm very bad at that. I am not the kind of person that likes to toot their horn much. I just do my thing and that's it. And I think that was a mistake because there are a lot of people out there that have like relationships and like friendships and such, like, oh, we're going to Las Vegas or, for Trek or something like that. And I'm just going, I feel like I made a mistake by not doing that, by not reaching out to other people, because you might not think this for somebody who does like podcasting for 14 years, but I'm extraordinarily introverted. And so I have a very difficult time meeting people.
I can definitely relate. For me, I love when I'm not with people. I mean, it's weird, but I recharge by editing. I recharge by walking.
Yep. Walking is good.
Yeah. New Fitbit.
Yep.
And what is the best piece of advice anyone has ever given you?
Get a good microphone.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. I have gotten into religious discussions with people about this on Twitter. Like, what difference does it make what quality your mic is? I'm like, if you sound like I can't hear you. If I can't hear you, you sound like you're coming out of a tin can. I'm not going to listen.
Well, what do you mean? I mean, this is a very good mic, right? Like, this is my chat mic. I mean, can you hear me? You can hear me my chat mic, right? Yeah, okay.
I'm not even talking about that. That at least you can hear. I'm talking about like the static and all that. Like, remember those microphones you used to give to IBM PC users? It was like the long beige. Yep. You love that thing, don't you?
Way too much. You don't even know.
No, the best piece of advice I would ever give anybody is buy a new get a good microphone. For $50, you can get a decent mic.
Yeah, I saw the Samsung QTU was 40 right now.
Yep. A friend of my youngest is doing a podcast, and I just wrote and I said, just get a good microphone. Do whatever you want. Just get a good microphone.
Yeah. And I think by putting that mic, you also feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the first time I guested on Warcast, I had a headset. That's it. Like, I didn't have this mic yet. Mm-hmm. And like, Mike, you kept saying like, I sounded okay or whatever, but like, I listened back to it and I hated it. I hated my I hated my voice, but I hated my quality. And I felt so much happier when I got this mic and felt more like an actual podcaster,
And the thing is, like, where I'm coming from is like, I'm coming from FM radio. So like for me, it's like, another thing that I need to say about myself is that I don't like to half-ass anything. I either do it or I don't. I remember when I remember exactly, it was late June and I went to Sam Ash because the first thing that I bought was this crappy Firewire thing that was so bad that every time, like, I don't know if anybody remembers, but halfway through recording, it would turn into a robot. And I put up with it for a long time until I finally just got the new mixer, the Alesis. At the time, there was no USB interface for these things. There was none of that crap. All the stuff that we have now that we take advantage of, it's like back then you had to like hook it in with analog or Firewire or something. And admittedly, I was a bit ignorant about the whole thing, but I just wanted to get something recording now, do it now. Nobody got that Terrancast reference. I made that mistake. You got okay.
Yeah, of course I got it.
It went over my head.
Yeah, okay.
I can't tell you how many times I listened to Taverncast like from the beginning over and over. It was one of my happy shows. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, the best advice is just make sure your sound is good.
And just like add on to that, get good sound, but don't obsess over it because you'll hear your voice differently than how other people hear you.
I should show you a screenshot. I don't know if I have GarageBand anymore. The very first episode of Warcast, it took me like a week to edit it, and you should see all the edits because I would listen to it and I would cut out the ums, and then I would go back again, and then I would cut out like more stuff, and then this gap was too long. I had to stop doing that because it would take a week or two, and then I was not in the mood to edit. It would take me forever. And then one day I just decided I'm just going to make a conscious effort to stop doing that. And I still say, I just did. I still say and such, but what I do now is I'll edit out a sneeze or a cough or some other mistake. But for the most part, my shows are editless.
They really are, which disgusts me.
I am in awe of that because I do editing. I don't do as much editing as I used to. I mean, I still edit, but I would obsess over every single thing. Now I let stuff go unless it absolutely is easy to remove and it bugs me.
Yeah.
Even your like, you do them once in a while, but it's not like every other word or every other sentence, whatever. It's just, there might be 2 or 3 in a show, maybe. And that's it. And that feels more like natural conversation.
Yeah.
Which it works out nicely, And
there are times that you can't remove an because it is so part of a word.
Yeah. I learned to just do what I possibly could to keep it down. Thinking on your feet is not easy all the time.
No.
Especially when you're tired.
Yeah.
You're trying to just keep that's another thing I notice I say a lot. And I'm not the only one, but and I mean, I'm trying to cut that down too. So there's a lot.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Get your voice to sound good. At least people won't shut you off in the first 5 seconds. The content will follow.
Yeah. And it will take episodes for you to feel comfortable.
Yes. I always said that it takes 10 episodes for you to get your stride.
Yeah. Because until that, you don't feel comfortable. Right. And even then, you'll mess up on episodes after 10. Just so 10's not that magic number, but it is a good number. I still mess up. And what would you say is the best thing that has happened to you since you started podcasting?
Not just meeting everybody. Anybody that I talk to, anybody that I follow on Twitter or anything like that, I would just never be here without the show.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's always fun to be like, hear that somebody just either listens to you or has listened to you and be like, oh, wow. And that connection. And in a way, they know you better because you're putting your life out there. And they remember things that you don't even remember about yourself.
That's true, as Allie just proved. I was at BlizzCon a few years ago, and somebody asked me to autograph a book for them. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I mean, I was happy to do it, of course, but I was just like, wow, weird. That's so weird.
What would you say is one hidden pitfall with podcasting that prevents people from succeeding?
Scheduling.
Yes.
Scheduling. Don't do a show randomly. Try to stick to a schedule and at least tell people that you're not going to be doing a show the following week because.
Yeah.
Plan your shows ahead as much as you possibly can so that you always have a rolling list of content. Google Docs. Just,
Google Docs is amazing. Google
Docs
is my hero.
Me too.
Yes.
Trello. I want to add Trello's one that I've started using in addition to Google Docs. It has been amazing.
I mean, like I said, I'm just not the kind of person that goes, hey, listen to my show like Steve Martin would do or something. I'm just not. That is my own fault, and I still haven't gotten past that. So that could be a hindrance for people. Thick skin.
Yes.
I don't get a lot of haters, which is good, but I laugh at them now. You get older, you're just like, you're an idiot. And I just block them and that's it.
Yeah.
I just laugh at it. I'll send Allie a tweet. I'm like, look what this idiot said. So she's nodding her head like,
Yep.
Don't take anything on the internet too seriously. Especially now. Twitter has changed a lot. I'm not going to go off on too much of a tangent, but when I first joined Twitter, it was mostly people that were doing creative content and we're all talking about what we're doing, and then things went downhill.
Yeah, because I think the only people who used it were like, hey, I'm doing this at this time.
Right, or what are you working on? Tell me what you're working on. But now it's like a necessary evil.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes I always try to think of, when I put something out there, what is it going to affect? And I try to think, if it's going to offend somebody, who is it going to offend?
I do all the time.
Because I don't want to hurt somebody unintentionally. And I'm like, if it's going to offend somebody and it's going to be bad, I'm just not going to say it.
I have learned a long time ago to not piss anybody off. There's just no point in it.
No.
There is no point in being controversial. Who cares?
You aren't going to change them and they're not going to change you. And it's like, okay.
Right. The last thing I need to do is do something where somebody says, I'm not listening to you anymore. Like, it happens, but it's very rare. I don't say anything controversial. I don't inject myself into stupid stuff. I'm just like very Switzerland on the internet. I don't say anything or do anything. It's just like, no, unless it's positive. That's another thing. That's one thing I've learned in the last few years, is that there's a lack of empathy and positivity on Twitter, and I'm getting real sick of it. And so I have decided not to be that person, not to stir up anything.
I had one where I said something and actually it was nice. The person told me, why what I said wasn't good. So there, I was able to be like, okay, I understand what I did wrong. But it was an accidental offense, not I didn't set out to offend somebody.
Yeah, the thing is, lately I've been finding that you could say blue and people would get offended. Exactly. Just like that. So that's another reason why I just sort of like not say much anymore. Don't need that.
But, I think people would like to know one thing that they don't know about you or realize about you.
I eat cheese.
Oh,
I don't know.
Ooh,
like in terms,
shocking.
in terms of what?
You mentioned how Star Trek, you want people to know about your love of Star Trek. So you did the podcasting. What is something that you've not shared or that is passionate to you?
Well, there's gaming, but that's kind of obvious. There's actually one or two shows of things that I've done in the past that only went like 2 episodes. Movies are a big thing for me. I've always wanted to do a movie podcast, and unfortunately, my friend, I say this, I've said this before, maybe once, but I had a friend who, if he were still alive, he and I would have dominated podcasting. And I'm not exaggerating either. He and I were working on stuff for public access. I mean, that's how far back it goes. And then he passed away a few years ago, but he is the biggest, or was the biggest movie fan I've ever known. We actually ran 35 millimeter stuff at a local theater before. Here's a piece of trivia that you will not know. You will not find anywhere on the internet. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. The original Star Wars trilogy, like pre-special edition, put your hand up if you ran the very last showing on the planet on a 35 millimeter projector.
Wow.
That's cool.
I ran the projectors that played the very last showing of the original trilogy on 35.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The official last ones, because you hear stories. I used to run 35 millimeter films for a local group, and we're doing things like double features, right? World of Worlds and The Fly, or we would do 3 Raiders of the Lost Ark movies and such like that. One day I'm like, why don't we just do Star Wars? What would it take to do Star Wars? And it turns out that you couldn't do it unless you took the money and donated it to a group, charity. There's a YMCA right across the street. We're like, well, why don't we just donate the money to the YMCA? And we did it. 700 people.
Wow.
Yep.
That's awesome.
A lot of fun. That was a good time. So there's something I don't talk about much, but I've always wanted to do a movie podcast, but it's just tough when you don't know somebody like Chris was, and my friend who passed. I guess it's because I've known him for 20 years, and you can't just like walk into a podcast about something where you have to like sort of get to know what the level of moviness the other person is in.
Yeah.
So that's why I never did one.
I know quite a few people who do movie podcasts, and they typically do with somebody that they're tight with.
Right. You have to, because if I go to do a podcast with somebody and I just like pull a random person and they wind up knowing like a bajillion times more than I do, I just feel like an idiot. Because I know that like I've never seen Gone with the Wind. So of course, like nobody's going to touch me because like, oh, you've never seen Gone with the Wind, right? That sort of thing. So that's why I just never did one.
Well, and you want it to be fun and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably why gaming is easier. And it's interesting you mentioned GOG earlier, because Diablo just came out on GOG.
Yes, I saw Diablo 1 or 2.
I think it's 1 right now, and then 2 is coming.
Okay.
And then I found out from Michael of the Blue Recluse that Warcraft 1 and 2 are also coming to GOG.
Interesting. Okay.
So I know you're not as big of an RTS, but it's cool that Blizzard's using GOG, because GOG does an amazing job at doing backward compatibility. And I'm glad that they're bringing these pieces of history. There's things that I've never played, and I want to play them.
Mm-hmm. It took me a bit to get Rogue Squadron up and running. I think I had to get, what was it? What's that library that NVIDIA had? The 3D, I can't remember. Glide. I think it was. I had to get Glide installed or something. Maybe it wasn't Glide, but it was something. And once I got that up and running, then everything worked fine. Although there was a glitch with the game where if you did something, your camera would go out too far. I don't know if they fixed that or not.
I'm betting that they did, because GOG, to me, it seems to be pretty good at getting things out.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you both for joining me on FrazlCast. The time just flew.
My God, it's like 3 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, I have podcasted till like 1 a.m. in the morning on this show.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not as much anymore. I've learned how to be more tight and consistent.
See, you learn. Just like we all learn.
And I've learned that I don't want to edit multiple hours. So where can we find you on the interwebs? We'll start with Starman Mike, Michael Gaines, the bead guy.
Star Mike on Twitter. I found Twitter too late, which is why I don't have Starman. I hate my Twitter handle, but what are you going to do? TeamBonsai.com is where my shows are, but I haven't updated it in a while, so I'm really lame. And This Week in Trek and World of Warcast are the two shows that I do every week.
And Allie, where can we find you?
Well, you can hear my show Dungeons and Fables wherever you get podcasts. Mm-hmm. Or you can hear me every week on All Things Azeroth. You can find me on Twitter at AliAndersK. And you can find my show at Dungeon Fables also on Twitter.
And I just got to say this because we mentioned Star Trek. Beam me up! Customized ultra safe transporter.
That's right.
Activating customized ultra safe transporter.
I'm back at my home of Ironforge until we one day reclaim Nomergon. And it's been a while since I've been able to roll this next bumper.
Let's look at what has been happening in the community.
Absolutely. So I wanted to bring to light a couple of charities that have been happening recently. So Stone, who you can find at WoW Challenges and Adventures in Azeroth, and just an awesome person, is doing their 2019 Walk to End ALS. And they have raised over $1,000 towards this goal. And they're on their way to 2,000. I've got a link in the show notes where you can donate and support this cause, and they're streaming. So I also have a link to their Twitter so you can see when they're streaming for this. Stone is an awesome person. I support them in what they're doing. And then April is Autism Awareness Month, and there are charity events that have the support of r/WoW and Raider.io. So there will be a series of events. April 2nd will be a Hot Ones inspired AMA from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific, where they will be eating a series of foods with increasingly hotter hot sauces while answering questions. April 13th to 20th, 120 marathons starting at 8 a.m. Pacific. They say should take between 25 to 35 hours. April 20th will be the leveling of the warriors. And during the month of April, they'll be doing the Ironman Challenge. There'll be giveaways, and everything that they're doing is to raise money for Integrate, which is focused on helping adults with autism get jobs, and ASAN, Autism Self-Advocacy Network. It's focused on autism being talked about people with autism, not by parents. So definitely check them out. They have some amazing different people. There are giveaways for custom image flare on Artist WoW. There are 6 3-month subscriptions for Raider.io, a t-shirt from Discord. There are shop mounts. Elgato is going to be putting in some stuff like they say possibly a stream mini deck, WoW tokens, M10 carries. Definitely check out both of these charities in both of these events. And this just shows our community is always focused on some really cool stuff and about becoming together, showing that people on the internet, we can come together to do great things. And before I go, I wanted to thank everybody who has been encouraging for this show, the labor of love, all the fun that I have. Thank you to Torlock for the awesome messages in Discord, for the awesome chat messages. Thank you to Leo Out for always with the cosmic greetings and stuff like that. Just all the fun stuff that just makes me happy and it makes me appreciate all of you. Like was said earlier, one of the best things that is about podcasting is meeting you, meeting the people who have made my life better. Shows that we are not all alone, that there are people out there who will love what we love. And I like to take a part of the show to thank my Twitch subs and my Twitch cheers. Thank you to Amanda of Geek Hearing, Anastasia of General Chat, who, by the way, had an awesome episode with Allie that just came out. Really cool, and definitely check that out. Epic Insanity, Michael of the Blue Recluse, Resurus, Sir Nate the Great, Thorn of Lagging Balls, Zorts, and Zealot or Nihar. I always forget which one to call you, but at least I'm not... Oh no, did I just get it wrong? Is it Nihar, Nihar? You'll tell me a little bit, Zealot. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, thank you to everybody. And thank you to Thorn and Polly for the cheers. All of your support, and either monetary or even just chatting with me, talking with me, all your support means a lot. And without you, I would just be talking into a microphone and for me, probably nobody would be hearing me. Well, I am Frazly, and you can find the show at gnomepodcast.com. Until next week, be awesome.
Buxley may arrive with spare parts. Buxley here to answer your World of Warcraft questions in this edition of Ask Buxley. This time we have a phone call.
Dear Buxley, I am submitting my application to be an intern for Ask Buxley. I believe I would be an excellent research assistant for you. I know all about Azeroth, and I can prove it. The Alliance has a city named Stormwine, and their leader is Van Ryan. One of the major figures is Jaina Prudamori, and she casts lots of spells, is really angry right now, so you should kind of stay away from her. Other Alliance cities include Iron Forgy and the Exodar, and a great big burned out tree which used to be called Darnassus. The Hordy city is Orgrimmari, and their leader is Cyril Vanas Van Reinhardt. One of the major figures is an orc named Thiral, and we haven't seen him for a while. Oh, and I know the other Hordy cities too. There's Thunderbloof, there's Undersaitai, and Slaver Mu on Saitai. As you can see, I would make an excellent intern. I expect to hear from you really soon.
No. Thanks for your application. If you'd like to know what I've been up to every day, follow Ask Buxley on Twitter. If you like the segment, please take the time and rate it on iTunes.
So, did I get the job?
I've got another hour until the report. Wait, what? It's time? But, Philly! My watch didn't sync up with the cat, the continuously adjusting timekeeper. I'll have to go investigate what's up with it later. I hate daylight saving time. Zauner, did you get my show notes ready? Good. You are shaping up to be a great intern. You're better than Donald, who is going back to school this spring. They looked at going to the Umbrella Academy, but they got rejected. I suggested the school that Toss-Mifune is going to, but Donald wants to go to a theater school instead. Maybe he'll be the next Lin-Manuel Miranda. I mean, Donald doesn't want to give up his shot. Anyway, let's get started. Roll the music. No, not that. I'll have to show you which file it is. Welcome to the Fraz Report, a short podcast by me, the Awesome Gnome, about the World of Warcraft. So Blizzard has been clarifying some of the things happening with Classic. They just unveiled the new Classic content release schedule. Phase 1, which they are calling Classic Launch, will include Molten Core, Onyxia, and Maridun. And then Dire Maul, Azurgos, and Kha'Zix will follow for Phase 2. They talk about the additional phases as well after that. They've talked about the loot tables and what they will look like. They mentioned that PvP is still being decided, and the timing for phases 2 to 6 is still being thought about. In addition to this, there was some confusion as to why demons disappear when summoning a new one. Blizzard explained that they were looking at the floppy disk of the code they have, and that the spell to keep a demon while another spawns wasn't added until later. But why was this happening in the first place? We spoke with psychologist Salen Soulfeather, and they explained demon psychology to us. What truly happens is the demon gets upset when you're summoning a new one, so they just decide to leave. It's common tendencies for demons to do just what is impulsive to them. And what stopped them from leaving later on was that warlocks realized if they give the demon a lollipop each time they summon a new one, they'll get so excited that they'll agree to stay until the new minion appears. Demons just like candy. I love candy, and I love new patches. This week is the official launch of 8.1.5. There are new allied races, the Brawlers Guild, but there are also a few conspiracies that have popped up with this patch. Shane Dawson continued their series about conspiracy theories with a special episode on the theories regarding 8.1.5. The reason the Karazhan portal has been removed is Medivh was tired of unexpected guests riding into his tower and destroying his nightly dinner parties. His cleaning staff have threatened mutiny as they clean, and then all of a sudden, a player waltzes right in and destroys things. I mean, that would be aggravating. I would not want to put together a room and all of a sudden have some players watching and be like, hey, I like your room. Whoo, there you go. And then over on Darkmoon Island, there are fish heads that are popping up in the waters around the fair. This has sparked both a very pungent smell, and there are questions about whether Salus is using the island as a front for a fish cult. The fishermen on the island have been saying, fish heads, fish them up, yum, which is a very catchy song. And then finally, Shane got word of another place that might be reusing pizza. Shane has said that Ryko Pizza has some very oddly shaped pizzas. But being a journalist, we got a report from Ryko Pizza, and they said that they do not reuse pizza. If any pizza is left over, the staff eat it. Because they said, who wants to let pizza go to waste? And I agree. Pizza's so good. They do have a recycling deal, though. If you bring back your box, they will give you another pizza. I mean, at full price. But you will not be wasting pizza boxes. This is not the music either. We have 2 options for ending music. Okay, it's your first week. Well, that's the news for this week. Fishy things are happening, but it's been sweet that you tuned into this cheesy broadcast. Until next time, be awesome. You know, We got a lot of pizza boxes around here. We sure do love pizza. Hey, you know what? It's a going away party for intern Donald. I'll throw a pizza party. All of you listeners are invited. Contact me for details. Absolutely, we'll have pineapple on pizza. Donald, I know you don't like that, but you're going away soon anyway, so I don't care. I know the party's for you, but still, I love pineapple pizza.
Have you ever asked yourself what the world of Azeroth looks like from the perspective of a small village in Pandaria? Did you ever wonder what a weekly news show on a Pandaren college radio station would sound like? If not, well, that's probably a good thing, actually. But the creators of the Half-Hill Report sure did. So each week, your host, Tosh Mifune, that's me, brings you a short and very lighthearted view of the current goings-on in Azeroth as viewed by the only journalism major at Half-Hill Agricultural College. So join us each week on the Half-Hill Report as we share our small-town view of a very large world.
FrazlCast is a fan podcast that covers Blizzard games. We are not affiliated with Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. Views expressed by the host and guests are their own. Some of the art, music, and sound effects come from Blizzard games and are owned by Blizzard Entertainment, Inc. No copyright infringement is intended.
Want more awesomeness every week? Visit weeklyawesome.com. Weekly podcasts to make your week better. Remember to smile and be awesome.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.